Mistake number one is promoting your videos. Now, when it comes to getting views on YouTube, a lot of people falsely assume that the only way to do it is to promote their videos on places like Facebook and Instagram and all the other social media networks out there. But the truth is that the number one promotion that you're going to get on your videos that will exponentially increase on itself the more and more views that you get is letting YouTube promote your videos for you. Now, I know that's easier said than done when you're looking at your view count, seeing 0 views and 0 subscribers day after day, uploading video after video. Trust me, I know how hard that is. I've ran dozens of different YouTube channels during my YouTube journey over the past few years, but I can tell you for a fact that if you spend your time creating better content for YouTube instead of trying to find the latest and greatest new way of promoting your video, that you'll likely do better long term. And the way that you let YouTube promote your videos for you is to optimize your videos as I teach on this YouTube channel and within my course. Upload in a single niche, put up at least 30 to 60 videos on your channel, and then analyze and optimize on the next batch and repeat the process. Now, if you do happen to already have other social media accounts that you've grown some audiences on, for example, a Facebook page or an Instagram account, you can feel free to post on those platforms as long as the audience of those platforms is likely to be interested in the content you're sharing. One of the worst things you can do is to share your content to a group or a social media account in people who aren't even interested in that particular topic. Now, why is that so bad? Because if those people click to watch your video and then only watch a few seconds or a few minutes on average, it can actually hurt your video early on, especially if you don't have many views or subscribers, because then YouTube is going to falsely create audiences based off of the wrong type of people, and in turn it can make it longer for you to get organic traction. That being said, I've grown most of my YouTube channels completely organically with no outside promotion whatsoever, and I've been able to get millions of subscribers and hundreds of millions of views doing so. Mistake number two is paying for views or subscribers. Now, you may have seen services out there online that advertise that they'll get you a bunch of views to your YouTube channel if you just give them a bunch of money. Now, unfortunately, most of these services are way too good to be true. In fact, 99% of the people out there advertising that they'll get you views or subscribers if you pay them money are completely fake, and it's going to give you fake engagement that will, ironically enough, hurt your channel more than helping it. The only services out there that could actually do this legitimately is if they're paying for ads on somewhere like Google Ads, but even then you could easily just do that yourself, or even better yet, save your money and spend your time and money creating better content for your YouTube channel, which will then in turn get you more views and subscribers over time. So it's always best to grow your channel organically, in my personal opinion, and that's where I would recommend focusing your time. Mistake number three is not choosing a specific niche. When you upload in a single niche on YouTube, something really cool happens. When you have one of your videos take off and get a ton of views, not only will that video get a ton of views, but it'll also feed all the other videos on your channel. Not only that, but all of the subscribers that you get to your channel will actually be relevant and interested in the content that you're going to be uploading in the future, which means you'll get a higher view to subscriber ratio. That being said, you don't have to be insanely specific with your niche and only focus on some minute sub-niche of a topic. Typically, it's okay to choose an overall niche and then focus on a couple different sub-niches under that. For example, if your channel overall was about the health niche, you could talk about a few different subjects, including exercise and diet. Something that I just like to ask myself is, will most of my audience be interested in this type of content? Even if it's a little bit different of a piece of content than we normally do on the channel, will the majority of my audience likely be interested in that? YouTube mistake number four is inconsistency. So many people quit YouTube after uploading 10 videos and not seeing any traction. And this is typically due to a lot of false expectations that people have when it comes to doing YouTube. And that's because the YouTube channels that we are more likely to see already have a ton of views due to the fact that they have great videos on their channel and in turn are likely to be promoted more. So of course, the channels that are more likely to be surfaced to us are getting a ton of views and subscribers, and some of them without even many videos on their channel. But that isn't how it goes with most channels on YouTube. In fact, the average channel with over 100,000 subscribers has over 1,000 videos on it. And a lot of people expect to get to that amount just uploading a couple videos when they don't understand that it typically takes a lot more. Now, I don't want to discourage anybody from doing YouTube because it's completely transformed my life. It allowed me never to have to work a traditional job. I've made millions of dollars with YouTube. So yes, all those hours that I put into it have been 100% worth it. And if you personally want to do YouTube, I highly recommend it. But I also recommend having realistic expectations that it could take a while. Now, if you implement my growth secrets that I teach on this YouTube channel and in my online course, I believe that you're likely to get results way sooner, but it's basically just a giant competitive advantage not to have unrealistic expectations and expect it to take 30 to 60 videos until you start seeing some traction, because even if you get traction sooner, then it's just like an added bonus and then you won't feel sad either. And it's typically far better to upload 10 videos over a 10-week period, uploading one video per week and then sticking with that schedule into the future, than it is to upload 10 videos all in a single day and then upload nothing for the rest of those 10 weeks. YouTube mistake number 5 is making videos that nobody cares about. Now, I know this might sound harsh, but sometimes the truth isn't exactly easy to hear. And the truth is, a lot of people expect to get millions of views on their videos that, frankly, not many people are truly interested in. Now, how do you know if people are truly interested in your videos and they will actually care about them? You can know that if your videos actually provide value to the end viewer. Now, when most people think of value, they think of educational content like I'm creating right here for this channel, but I also run YouTube channels that create entertainment-based content, and that's another type of value, either entertainment value or educational value. And a great way to make sure that people will actually care about your videos is to do some preliminary channel research by going to YouTube, searching your niche, and then sorting the videos that come up by the most popular videos that have been uploaded, and making sure that there are videos that have been uploaded with over 50 to 100,000 views, and ideally multiple videos on those subjects. And how do you know if other channels out there that you want to model are succeeding? Well, by succeeding, I simply mean getting the amount of views that you personally would be happy with, and likely making the amount of money that you'd be happy with as well. And you can use tools like Social Blade to see estimates of how much YouTube channels could be making. Now, this isn't always 100% accurate due to the fact that CPMs can vary so much on YouTube, but it will at least give you a rough idea of how much channels could be making. And let's say your YouTube income goal is $10,000 a month, then make sure there's other YouTube channels that are out there that are likely to be making at least that much if you factor in ad revenue and alternative monetization sources. YouTube mistake number 6 is quitting before giving it a real shot. One of the biggest YouTubers out there, Mr. Beast, uploaded nearly 1,000 videos before seeing any real traction on his channel. So it can sometimes take a while, but trust me, it's well worth it if you stick with YouTube and you really give it a fair shot. Now, at this point, you might be asking, Matt, when should I ever quit on my YouTube channel? Is there ever a point where I've uploaded a ton of YouTube videos, haven't seen any traction, and should I just call it quits or pull the plug on the channel? And my answer to that is if you're in an evergreen niche that has proven channels out there getting the amount of views and potentially making the amount of money that you'd be happy with, the question rather than pulling the plug on the channel should be, should I just pull the plug on a type of content that I'm uploading? Tons of channels out there, including a lot of mine, have seen our biggest growth after changing a type of content that we're uploading instead of just quitting on the channel altogether. Because if a channel concept has been proven to work and we can produce videos equal to what's working, then at least we know it's possible. And at this point, I'd recommend experimenting a little bit. If you upload at least 60 videos on your channel and you're not seeing some traction, then I recommend increasing the percentage of videos that you upload in which you experiment and try new things. For example, let's say you're running a channel uploading short top 5 videos, you haven't seen a ton of traction, you upload 70 videos on the channel, then maybe experiment with a different type of content. Let's try some long-form documentary content or vice versa if you stay within the same niche. I never recommend changing the niche, but you can change the type of content that you upload within that niche. Another thing I would consider doing is comparing your content to the content that is currently succeeding within your niche. Now, the purpose of this isn't to bash yourself or get down on yourself if your content's not as good as what's already doing good within the niche, or you think your content is better even though there's these videos out there that appear to be worse but are getting way more views, and a lot of times we as creators, we can wonder why in the world is that happening? But rather, the purpose of doing this is to find clues as to what's working within the niche. Sometimes our preconceived notions about what's better or worse can be wrong when it comes to the end viewer of that type of content. There's so many times throughout my YouTube career where I've seen channels out there that appear to be producing worse content that I don't understand upon first glance why it's doing so well, but that's simply because my preconceived notion of what a good video is doesn't always match what the end audience of a specific niche conceives a good video to be. And trust me, I've been through periods throughout my YouTube journey where I wonder why aren't my videos getting the views that these other videos are getting, even though mine appear to be better. And this is honestly a terrible mentality to have. If you just sit in that and stew in that, nothing productive or good comes from that. Whereas if you look at these channels and you decide to make a change and take action, instead of just sitting and feeling bad for yourself, that's when you can experience a ton of growth. And I completely understand that this can be tough to hear sometimes, but I'm saying this because I really want you to succeed with YouTube, and I want to give you whatever information will help you do that. So when you look at other YouTube channels, use it as optimization data, take notes on what they're doing, model that and implement that into your own content in your own way, not copying word for word, but rather implementing the aspects that are likely to be producing the results that those channels are getting. At the end of the day, remember the only competition is against yourself. And when it comes to comparing video performance, what I recommend doing is looking at your channel averages in terms of click-through rate and audience retention, and then always trying to do better than your channel average. If you repeat this over time, you're going to get a lot of results with YouTube. Mistake number 7 is looking at your analytics too much or never looking at your analytics. I run a private YouTube course and community called Tube Mastery and Monetization, and within there, people ask me every single day, are my statistics looking good? And I ask them, how many videos do you have on the channel? And it often turns out I only have 3, 10, 20 videos on my channel, and I'm wondering if my audience retention is good compared to the normals and averages that you see within here. But the reality is that oftentimes these channels are prematurely getting obsessed looking at the analytics every day, constantly refreshing. And the reason I'm saying this is because I know from my own personal experience, I still do this to this day, even though I understand it's not optimal for mental health or even for the performance of your channel to be prematurely looking at statistics that in the end don't mean that much until we get a sizable backlog of content on our channel. So then at this point you might be asking, Matt, when is it time to look at the analytics of our channels? I recommend not obsessing about your analytics too much until you get at least 33 videos on your channel, because at this point, it's likely that you've gathered some data from your YouTube videos that will let you benchmark your video performance against other videos on your channel and against your channel average, so then you can try to do better than your channel average going forward into the future. Now, at this point, you might be asking, Matt, what analytics should I look at after I get a bunch of videos on my channel? I recommend first and foremost looking at your audience retention graphs on specific videos on your channel, seeing where they go down, making notes of what's going on at that point in the video, and then cutting that out and never doing that again in future videos. And do the same thing for when your audience retention spikes, write that down and try to implement that as much as possible into future videos. The other analytic I highly recommend looking at regularly is click-through rate once you build up a sizable backlog of videos, and always just be trying to do better than your channel average in terms of click-through rate, and this is dependent on your thumbnail, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. Mistake number 8 is using bad titles. Now, how can you tell if a YouTube title is bad? Well, a YouTube title is bad if it doesn't accurately describe your video in a way that makes people want to click. Now, you might be asking, how do you practically do that? You practically do that by looking at other videos on the subjects that you're going to be uploading in and modeling aspects of titles that have worked on YouTube into your own. This doesn't always mean copying titles word for word, but rather modeling what's already worked, as well as asking yourself, if I was a viewer, would I click this title and thumbnail combination? Mistake number 9 is not optimizing your videos. A lot of people upload videos to YouTube with no tags or no description, and then they wonder why they're not getting a ton of views. Well, YouTube lets you fill out the title, description, and tags of your videos for a reason. This is to tell YouTube what your videos are about. Then when YouTube does test your content, and trust me, they will test your content to a small audience in the beginning, if it does good to that test audience, and if you fill out your title, description, and tags with relevant keywords that are actually related to the type of content you're uploading, then it'll promote it initially to the right audience. And even though it's a really small audience in the beginning, then if it performs good, then YouTube will push it to a wider and wider audience. And you can use tools like vidIQ to find good keywords to use on your channel, and you can get any plan for vidIQ for free for a month by using the code MATTPAR. Now, a lot of people come to me and they say, Matt, I found this video out there on YouTube that has absolutely no tags on it, no good optimization or anything, yet it's still got millions of views. Why are you telling me to put tags on my video and optimize my video and worry about keywords or anything like that? Now, the reason that can happen is because YouTube tests all content, even content that doesn't have tags, and if that content gets a high click-through rate and a high percentage of audience retention and watch time, then YouTube will continue to push it out as long as the video continues to perform good, even if the content has no tags. But if your content does have proper tags and keywords added on your video, then YouTube is likely to test that content sooner, and not only that, tested to a proper audience. So basically just gives your videos an unfair advantage. Obviously, your content still has to perform well in order to be pushed out to a wider audience, but might as well take advantage of that feature that YouTube has, and they have it for a reason. In fact, I even have a secret keyword strategy that I teach within my program Tube Mastery, in which I show exactly how to find the best keywords using vidIQ along with the Google spreadsheet in order to find the absolute best keywords to put on our channels, and in turn make it more likely for YouTube to test our content sooner. Mistake number 10 is doing bad intros. Now you might be surprised to hear that one of the best intros that you can do on YouTube is no introduction whatsoever. Take this video for example. If you go back and watch the beginning, I didn't bore you with a long drawn out explanation of what I'm about to show you. I just got right into it and started going through the mistakes that you clicked on this video for. People are smart and they don't always need the title of the video repeated back to them 50 times before you get into the actual content. It's typically much better to just get into the content as soon as possible. But there is one exception to that, and that is if you do what is called a hook intro. Now, hook intro is any type of introduction that hooks your audience's attention so they're more likely to watch the rest of the video. And the way that you can find great hook intros for your channel is to go on other channels that are succeeding, see the types of phrases that they say at the beginning of their videos, and see if you can incorporate something similar into your own videos. But whenever you're in doubt, just use no intro at all. In fact, look at the channel Top 15s. They get millions of views per month, and they literally do no introduction. They just get straight into the content. Mistake number 11 is doing sub for sub. Now this is where you subscribe to people's channels and in return they subscribe to yours, and this will actually hurt your channel more than helping it because the subscribers that you get won't actually be interested in the type of content you're uploading, and then they're likely not to watch it. Therefore you get a low engagement rate, therefore YouTube doesn't promote your videos as much, therefore you're sad. Plus YouTube doesn't even allow sub for sub, so if you get caught doing it, your channel could be deleted anyway. So just be safe, guys. When you see comments below videos like this saying subscribe to me and I'll subscribe to you back, don't listen to it, don't do it. It's only going to hurt your channel. I'm here to look out for it because I want your channel to actually grow. And a big way that I can help you do that is to dispel a lot of these big myths out there on how you grow channels. The real way of growing YouTube channels is to upload great, optimized content over time. It's much, much, much better to have only real subscribers on your channel because it'll benefit you way more in the long run. Mistake number 12 is not making videos on the right subjects. Now, how do you know the right subjects to make videos on? Well, one of the worst ways of doing it is just coming up with stuff off the top of your head and making videos on that subject. Now, while they can work sometimes, it's not necessarily a repeatable process that you can always do. In order to take the guesswork out of it, what I recommend doing is getting half of your videos from keyword research using a tool like vidIQ, sorting the results by the highest overall score, and then only choosing keywords to make videos on that are actually related to your niche, and then getting the remaining half of video ideas from already popular videos. And you can use the most viewed tab within vidIQ to do this, or just by simply searching and filtering the results on YouTube by the most viewed videos in the past month, 6 months, or 1 year, so you can find videos within your niche that are succeeding right now. That being said, always feel free to leave room for experimenting with new subjects, but this really helps take the guesswork out of it when it comes to getting tons of video ideas for your channel that are likely to do very good. Mistake number 13 is not getting people to click your videos the right way. When it comes to getting people to click our videos, YouTube measures this with a statistic they call click-through rate. Click-through rate is a percentage of people that click to watch your video as opposed to all the other videos on YouTube that show up when they either search or they see a bunch of videos within their suggested feed and so on. And when they click your video, your click-through rate, which is displayed as a percentage, increases. The most important key to increasing click-through rate is having a great thumbnail. And when it comes to making thumbnails, what most people do is spend a ton of time creating a great video, which is awesome. Great content is important on YouTube, but then at this point they're exhausted and they're just like, okay, now I'm just gonna whip together a thumbnail in like 2 minutes within a photo editor and call it good. Now, this is not the best way of approaching thumbnails, and I want to challenge you to think about it a little bit differently right now. For the next 3 videos that you put on your channel, find a video topic, find a couple videos to model where you like the look of their thumbnails that got at least 50 to 100,000 views on them, write a title for your own video, and then spend some time creating the thumbnail before you ever create the video. This will also even give you more motivation when it comes to creating your video, knowing you have a solid title and thumbnail already done, so you know that if you create a great video as well, your video is likely to do great. Now, right now, to prove this to you, I'm gonna show two thumbnails side by side really quickly, and tell me instinctively within the comments below which thumbnail you'd click on, either 1 or 2. Ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now, even though these thumbnails weren't shown for very long, you probably have an idea within your mind which one you would instinctively click on. And the proof is in the numbers. Thumbnail number 1 got nearly 250,000 views within the first month it was uploaded, and thumbnail number 2 only got around 700 views in 6 months. Now, obviously, the quality of the video and how well optimized it was play a big part in the success of these videos. However, I truly believe that the thumbnail also played a giant part. Now, what makes thumbnail number 1 better than thumbnail number 2? Well, the text is kept to a minimum. The text is big and it's easy to read. There's contrast between the text and the background. Primary elements are kept to a minimum, and it's easy to immediately understand upon first glance looking at it. Meanwhile, thumbnail number 2 takes a second to look at it and really understand what we're looking at. With the text, it doesn't really stand out too much. It's way too small. And that's one of the biggest keys when it comes to creating thumbnails, making them simple and easy to understand within a second of looking at them. For example, when you search any term on YouTube, for example, let's just say we search top 10 tech on YouTube and see the results that come up. Just look at these results that come up. Each of these thumbnails is simple and easy to understand and only focuses on one primary thing. That being said, feel free to include a couple primary elements within your thumbnails, but just keep it to a minimum. Fill out as much of the thumbnail as possible. If you use text, keep it to a minimum and make it big and easy to read. Use contrast and put borders around the text if possible. Use bright colors. And finally, model thumbnails that have already worked within your niche. And this is because every niche will have exceptions to what's currently working within it. And how do you know if you're doing good in terms of your titles and thumbnails for click-through rate? Well, there isn't some magical number for click-through rate where if you get this number, you automatically get 1 million views. Most thumbnails have lower than a 6% click-through rate. So if you do better than 6% for most niches out there, you're doing better for most other videos on YouTube. However, I just recommend comparing it to your channel average click-through rate and trying to consistently do better than your channel average. Mistake number 14 is buying a YouTube channel. I see so many people make this mistake, and unfortunately, I see a lot of people capitalize upon people's misunderstandings when it comes to this. Whenever you see somebody selling a monetized channel in order to help you get views and subscribers and grow your channel faster, run as far as you can in the other direction, because in reality, these monetized channels are going to hurt your YouTube growth more than help it. And that's because most of these monetized channels are monetized with fake means. And even if they are monetized legitimately, the videos uploaded on it were probably uploaded in a niche that's not even remotely related to what you want to do. And the only exception I'd ever make with this is if you keep the channel in the same exact niche. However, even if you keep it in the same niche, how do you know that the views were real? How do you know that the subscribers were real? Oftentimes, it's much easier and in fact better for growth just to save your money and don't buy any monetized channel. That's not to say there aren't legitimate channels for sale through places like Empire Flippers if the channel's being sold as part of a business that includes a website, social media, and a YouTube channel and all this stuff. In that case, channels can be sold for sale legitimately, but most of the channels out there for sale will actually hurt your growth more than helping it, and just want to look out for you and make sure that you have the best chance for success on YouTube. Mistake number 15 is not letting yourself make mistakes. Now, this is kind of a paradox to include in a video about YouTube mistakes, but it's ironic that one of the biggest mistakes YouTubers can make is not letting themselves make any mistakes. A lot of people who watch videos like this, and this might include you, this definitely has included me at times, spend their time watching videos, accumulating knowledge, which is great. That's awesome, and it's one of the best ways to jumpstart your YouTube knowledge and in fact make it more likely to get results sooner. But then they forget the other half of the equation, which is actually putting in the work and taking action on that information. Because a lot of people think that their content has to be absolutely perfect before they upload it, and that could not be further from the truth. I mean, just go back and look at the best videos on any of the giant YouTube channels that are out there. A lot of them aren't very good at all. In fact, a lot of them are just straight up bad, and they made a lot of mistakes. The best way to get better over time is to take instant, imperfect action, because that's usually better than delayed perfect action, especially if you never take action at all. And a great way to overcome this that I found that works with me personally is to imagine 1 year from now, if you didn't take action, if you procrastinated and you were waiting for every single circumstance in your life to be perfect before you took action, and just imagine the consequence of that just staying in the same place that you're at right now, as opposed to what would happen if you took action instantly. Maybe your first video isn't great. Maybe it is. You never know if you don't take action and upload. And then imagine you stuck with that over the course of a year. Putting up 3 videos per week, 12 videos per month, that compounds every single month. Over the course of a year, you've got over 100 videos on your channel, and your channel is growing. At this point, you might be making money from your channel. You could make a real business out of doing this. And this is a great way of overcoming this, just painting a picture of how great your life could be if you took that instant, imperfect action. Now, this doesn't mean making unnecessary mistakes, which is why you're watching this video right here. You can learn from the mistakes that I've personally already made on YouTube, so you can just skip them and then just straight up learn what works. That's why I personally have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on online courses, and why I sell my own course teaching people how to do YouTube, because I believe it can genuinely help them, but only if they take action on that information. Mistake number 16 is following your passion. A lot of YouTubers out there, when they're giving advice on how to choose a niche, they use this cop-out that they just say, oh, follow your passion. And while it is good to choose something that you have at least some interest in because it'll make you more likely to take action over time, it's not required by any means. Like a lot of the top channels that I run, they're not necessarily something that I'm super passionate about. This advice of following your passion is only valid if there is a market for the niche of your passion. And a way of doing market research to see if your passion could be viable is to search YouTube, make sure that there's videos that have been uploaded with over 50 to 100,000 views, use keyword tools like vidIQ, search your keywords, make sure there's a lot of search volume, at least 10 to 20,000 searches per month for some of the top keywords related to your niche, and overall just make sure people are interested in the type of content you're going to upload. It's definitely a benefit to be passionate about what you're doing, but it's not a requirement, and oftentimes this can actually be a limiting belief that holds people back. Mistake number 17 is the complete opposite of that, which is doing something you're not interested in at all, only for the money. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that if you stick with something, even though you're uninterested, it's been proven to work, you stick with something over time, you can still get results. I run over a dozen different channels on YouTube, and I'm not particularly super interested in a lot of those subjects. But I hire other people to make the videos for me for a lot of those channels. And the only work I do on a lot of those channels is coming up with video ideas, managing my freelancers, and uploading and optimizing the finished videos. But if I was making the videos myself for some of those channels that I weren't interested in, then I know myself good enough to know that I wouldn't be as likely to take consistent action and keep with something long term, long enough that's required to likely get the results that you want, unless I had some type of interest in that subject. So if you're gonna be doing everything for your channel, at least for the next 6 months to a year, if you don't have money to pay other people to make the videos for you, or to hire an editor for your channel, or any kind of help that you can get, then I do highly recommend doing something you have at least a vague interest in, or something you know that if you do long term, you could grow an interest in. Like I know for a fact that I could grow an interest in so many different subjects if I actually sat down, researched them, and went super deep into those subjects. So I do recommend at least keeping that at the top of your mind. Mistake number 18 is thinking that you have to be motivated to do YouTube. This is a huge mistake that a ton of YouTubers make, including myself at times. The truth is, you don't have to be motivated at all in order to take action. Motivation can help in short bursts, but in order to make long-term improvement, there's going to be times where we're not motivated and we don't feel like doing something, but it's in our best interest to go ahead and do that thing anyway. The best way that I've personally found to get around this is to make the action that you want to do that's likely to facilitate the goals that you want to accomplish a part of your identity. Let me explain what I mean by that. If you identify as a successful YouTuber, then ask yourself, what does a successful YouTuber do? Well, a successful YouTuber wouldn't sit there and not work if they don't feel like it. They would write videos, upload their next script, hire their next team member. They would take action even if they don't feel like it, because they know long term they'll feel a lot better having done that action, learning new things, progressing along the way, and growing their channel. Mistake number 19 is copying videos. Now, earlier on in this video, I recommended modeling what works, but there's a difference between modeling and copying. I've seen channels out there that take scripts or articles from places online and just put it within their video, do a voiceover on it, changing literally nothing, and this is what not to do. Under any circumstances, don't do this. It puts your channel at risk long term. Instead, rewrite the scripts into your own words and make it a unique piece of content. And to double check this, I recommend also using a website called Copyscape. Paste your script in there, even if you wrote it yourself, just to make sure it's unique. And when I hire new script writers, initially I put their first scripts through Copyscape just to make sure that we're heading in the right direction with the channel. Mistake number 20 is not experimenting. Some of the biggest growth on my channels have come from experimenting with new things. For example, I had one of my channels experience its biggest growth ever and its biggest month ever after we experimented with a new type of content for that channel. So on the channel, we were uploading top 10 and top 5 videos, and we were doing okay, but we were experiencing a steady decrease in views over the last few months until we decided to try something new, and we started making compilations of our own videos. So effectively, what this means is that we had all these top 5 and top 10 videos. We started combining our own videos together to make top 20 lists, top 30 lists, and in turn experience a ton of exponential growth. And whenever you experiment with new things, just keep in mind, yes, there is always a potential that it could hurt your channel and you don't get a ton of views doing it, but there's also that chance of upside that it could help your channel more than you could ever imagine. So I always try to leave at least 10% of video ideas open to trying something new, and I suggest that you do the same. Now check out this video to discover how to grow on YouTube as fast as possible with practical, implementable advice that actually works. This video right here will help you grow on YouTube potentially more than anything else you've seen. This video right here, I truly believe will help you grow a ton on YouTube, so check it out. My name is Matt Parr. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.